What's going on? So I've been talking a lot about some big horror film franchises, and there's one that I haven't really touched on yet, and that's one of my favorite ones: Texas Chainsaw Massacre films. Yeah, why not start with the sequel? That's usually what I do. I'm gonna save the obviously the original is fantastic, but I'll get to my opinions in another video for that later on down the road. This one I'm gonna be talking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, released by Canon Corp. August 22nd, 1986. Written by L.M. Kit Carson, produced by Menhem Golan and Yaram Golbus, and directed by Toby Hooper. And if you're not sure if that name sounds familiar, obviously did the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He's also directed like Poltergeist, The Funhouse, Life Force, a whole pile of stuff. So yeah, quite an iconic director. Rest in peace. He's no longer with us. But yeah, this film's budget was around $4.5 million, and it made about $8 million at the box, so which is like a moderate success. But yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. The Sawyer family. So in the original, they're in the middle of nowhere. Now they live like somewhat in a city, and there's this radio DJ host, and they start harassing her on the phone and stuff. And then eventually they slowly start tormenting her, and yeah, and basically the whole film is them coming after her. They visit one of the brothers of Leatherface goes and visits, and Leatherface himself goes to the radio studio and visits them, her and her colleague, and stuff happens, and basically she gets taken to their lair and has to try to fight her way to survive with the sheriff, with the sheriff's help anyways, who comes and tries to help save her and avenge her from the Sawyer family. Yeah, this film is exactly what you wanted. So in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, apparently there's a lot of complaints that the chainsaw wasn't really used, so they used it a lot in this one. The gore effects and everything are fantastic in this. I love the fight scenes and choreographed chainsaw fight at the end and everything. All that was well done, and it has sort of like a Hills Have Eyes Hills Have Eyes sort of like feel to it, and yeah, in some scenes the layer is pretty cool and stuff, and you definitely get to see the dark, cringy side of the Sawyer family even more in this. It's so overly crazy. It comes up pretty comedic, but overall, it's still a fun ride to go through, even if there's not a whole lot of killing in this one. But when it happens, it's pretty good and disgusting and pretty amusing, and you get to meet some new characters like Grandma and other members of the Sawyer family, which help propel the franchise into more craziness later on. Yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. Either you're gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. That's how I think most people would probably put it, because it's so drastically different than the first one. And yeah, the characters and stuff are pretty well fleshed out in this one. It does take a little time to pick up and get going, but they definitely try to show the Sawyer, at least some members of the Sawyer family, try to be more civilized and part of the community a bit more, having fun with that aspect. And then it goes into full-blown chaos mode, into being the ultimate slasher that it is. And yeah, there's not much else really to talk about. It's very simple, somewhat plot, and it's definitely catering to the slasher fans and giving you more chainsaw craziness and trying to push it a little further. And it's cool how they changed the setting and stuff and that. And yeah, overall, it's just really fun. So if you like the first one, you're definitely probably gonna love this one. So yeah, I enjoyed the Texas Chainsaw Massacre too. Not as much as most people. I thought like the story could have used a little more work and stuff, maybe a little more kills and things like that. And to me, it was like a little bit longer than it maybe should have. But for the most part, it's just small gripes like that I had. But for the most part, it's still enjoyable. It's still a good slasher film, especially for the gore hounds. So the effects, the acting, cinematography, and the way it was directed and everything is all pretty well done. It's just a little different and was a little bit odd than what I was expecting. So yeah, but I still enjoyed it. So I'm gonna give the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 a 4 out of 5. Yeah, the trailer's linked down below, like always. If you want to check it out or relive it or whatever, that's linked down below so you can see what I'm talking about. Also, if you want to know what I'm reviewing in the future, follow my Instagram, where I always post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my story. And I usually have the film title and a hashtag and the subject of the film and a hashtag in the video clip. So make sure you follow me on Instagram and stay in the loop. Also, you can also check out my Letterbox. I always post my what I give it out of 5 on there pretty much right after watching it. So yeah, for my first opinions and stuff like that, make sure you check out my Letterbox. I'll try to link that down below too. Comment your opinions of the film down below. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought. I'd love to hear what your opinions are. Also, let me know what your favorite Texas Chainsaw Massacre film is out of the franchise, because there's a lot of weird ones in there. It'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on those, and let me know what the next one I should review would be down below too. Also, if you have any films that you want to hear, or a film franchise that I want to hear my opinions on in the future, any films at all, I'll watch anything, comment those down below. I'll try to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. Yeah, and make sure you like this video, share it somewhere people are aware of it, so we keep this franchise alive and going strong still, and I think it is anyways. Yeah, and make sure you subscribe, because I'm going to talk about another random horror monster creature icon, I think, next, but we'll see how that goes. So make sure you subscribe, because majority of the time I have no idea what I'm going to review next, but hopefully we'll find some interesting films that you never thought of checking out together. So yeah, but for now, watch out for all those chainsaw wielding maniacs. It's getting to be that time of year. It's September, we got October, and that's when all the crazies come out and do their bidding. So yeah, watch out for all those crazy lunatic families out there, and I get, which is hard to ignore. But yeah, I guess I'll see you all in the next review. Hopefully it's another great horror film, but we'll see. So till then, cheers.